Hey there everyone, it's Joe from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, selling you the very best bullion bars and coins shipped to you worldwide from Melbourne in Australia. This is of course your weekly precious metals technical analysis where we take a look at the big four: gold, silver, platinum and palladium. Bullion Now YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bullion Now. Hit the big red subscribe button right here. Get your daily dopamine hit. 1,900 and something subscribers. You know, we're creeping up in the world, so that's good to see. You know, join the winning team, be a part of the family. Now, weekly technical analysis. Yeah, not so much. My apologies in the last 3 weeks. I haven't done one. So the last one was January the 9th. So it's January the 9th right there. So it's been a full 3 weeks. Our apologies. It's just been very, very busy in the store. I promise you we will dedicate more time. It is normally weekly. There's just been a couple of little times recently, coming back from the Christmas New Year's period where we've been catching up, and it's been a busy time. I'll say that much. But busy is good. That means the business is doing great guns. But in the last few weeks, we've had a nice roller coaster ride. So let's quickly go back to here, and right here in this video, and I can link it to you if you like, but I was saying with both gold and silver, based on the prices back then, and this was the daily time frame of gold in US dollars, we were hovering at 1,557.58 US dollars, and I was suggesting that we would see lower prices from here. I gave some rough targets that we might possibly come down to there, and if we broke through there, we might possibly come down to there. But I was saying lower prices from that point right here, and I was saying that for silver as well. So let's take a look at where we've gone, and you know where we've gone. We've had a nice little whoop, a dip, and then all the way back, almost all the way back up again. So that 1557 mark is right about here, and that was at around about, it was during this candle right here, but we'd yet to see that wick go down. So in the last few weeks, we have seen a further move down. So that feeling, based on the technicals, was correct, and we did see a bottoming out so far of $1,535 roughly. And interestingly, where does that coincide? If you just saw that right there, let me put a horizontal line. It coincides right there. Look at that, with that previous little high right there. It's interesting how it all works, the old technical analysis, isn't it? So right there is where it coincided with, and since then, of course, we have moved back up, currently at 1,580. And here's the question: where are we going from here in gold? We need to pull out to the weekly and possibly even the monthly. On the weekly time frame, it is looking now positive. It's looking positive for a move higher. So I'm going to say for now, let me have a quick look. Again, I'm just doing this on the fly. I don't really get a lot of a chance to look at and give a really good study before I start hitting the record button, because I'm serving customers, etc. But on a quick glance, it looks like we have room to move further up before we have a retracement back down. So my bias for this coming, I'd say the coming week, so that's after it closes and then it reopens again next week until next Thursday, my bias is to the upside, and that might be, I might even have to, we'll see what happens, but I might even have to continue that for a couple of weeks. I think room to move higher before we move down. So my bias is to the upside currently. Basically that just means I think we will see higher prices from here and higher than this current level right here of what is that high of 1611. I think we'll break 1611 first before we see a significant retracement. So I think we're on the way up. The next logical position for me, I would ignore this little Fibonacci line right there. And the next logical one for me is going to be around about here. See that level? Anywhere between this level right here and of course this level right here. So anywhere between hitting about $1,690 all the way up to the $1,800 mark. I think that's where we could move up to in the next week or two, before we saw a bit more of a retracement back down to, say, meet this previous high right here of your 1560 mark. So bias to the upside of a targeting between, as I said, $1,690 to $1,800. I'm going to keep it really, really quick. today. So that is gold. So let's move down to silver. Now silver right here. Where are we? Good old silver. Silver right there. All right, so that's on the monthly time frame. Let's take a look at the daily time frame. And we just need to see where we were last time in silver. So let's move a little bit forward. And that is in gold. Let's see where we were last time in silver. That is silver, and that is on the weekly time frame. Let's see if we can find... I don't want an ad. Oh, that sucks. Hang on a second. Even though we put ads on the website. There we go. That's on the weekly. And I need that on the daily in silver. There we go. So we're around about your $18 level. And that was all the way back here, right there. That's where we were. And I was calling for, again, lower prices from there. And I gave a couple of targets. The first target I gave was this one right here at $17.70. And that wasn't, where are we? Right there. That's that line right there. So I said we could come down to $17.70. If we break down there, we could break into here, and this could be the lowest here, right about there at your $17.25. And since, as you can see, we did hit that $17.70 level, have a bounce off, and then just a couple of days ago, was it yesterday? I think it was, maybe the day before, we had that big spike all the way back up. It was a fake out though, all the way up to 1835, and since all the way back down, piercing that 1770 level, and down to there to about 1740. Where are we moving from here in silver? Look, normally I would say where gold is going, silver is going to follow. But recently gold has been rising and silver has been falling, and what we've been seeing is a rise in the gold to silver ratio. Let's take a quick look here. Look at this big spike right there. That's because, not because gold was going up and silver was staying where it was because silver was going down and gold was roughly, actually going a little bit higher. So a big spike up. So back to silver. I think silver, look at all of my tickers right there. Let's see, we need to have a look on the weekly, and we probably even need to look on the daily. We have come close to that level right there. Let's take a look on the daily, on the monthly, sorry. I'm going to suggest, because we've come, let me get rid of that. And let me get rid of that, and let me get rid of that. That's a bit better. I'll also get rid of that. Nope. Right here. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Nope, that's not what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. I think potentially because we have come down to almost this level right here of 1730, and it also coincides with the 18 average of highs, this blue line right here. It's almost touched it. I think potentially we could follow in gold's footsteps. I think I might need to, I know you don't like it when I'm on the fence, and I apologize, but I might need to stay on the fence with silver for this one. I definitely think gold is moving higher. I don't necessarily think in the next week that silver will follow. What we might see quite potentially is a rise in the gold to silver ratio. I think I'm going to stay neutral on the silver. So if we are moving down further, we would obviously touch here at 1725, and piercing below, we would need to go back to probably the weekly. Piercing below there. It's such a tough one. We could potentially have a very small move back down on the weekly time frame, back down to this 1730 mark. I think it would bottom out there. We almost hit it, but I think if we have another little dip in the next weekly candle, I think potentially we could dip down to there, and I think that would be pretty much it. I don't think we would go anything below this 18 average of lows right here. It's around about your 1720 level. That's where I think we could bottom out at, and I think we would then have a nice little spike upwards. So that's my call. Neutral, but if we move down, it would be to about your 1720 level. And if we move up from here, well, we've got lots of different levels to talk about. Of course, we would need to break through here at 1880, and of course that next level at 1960. So neutral for silver. Actually, I'm changing it from bias to upside to neutral for silver, with just keep in mind this little level here of your $17.20. All right, quickly moving on to Platinum XPT. Now, I need to show you this. This has had a lovely little bull run all the way up to $1,040 in US dollar terms. A nice little retracement as well. I want to show you this on the monthly time frame because I want you to check out the volatility within the price. Usually on the monthly time frame there's quite large movements. Each candle represents 1 month's worth of trading, and you can see these big spikes. It'll go in 1 month, it'll go from 781 all the way up to 877, like $100 move. And right here you had this 913 down to 840 something. This one right here from just under $800 from $887, almost a $200 move. And particularly, you know, this one right here, yeah, 982 all the way down to 884, again a $100 move. So what I could potentially see, and it wouldn't surprise me, is, and I wouldn't worry is what I'm trying to say, if we come off this high of the 1040 and we come all the way back down to say 914, which butts up against this trend line right here, and it butts up against this previous support level right here, that is absolutely not the death knell for platinum, not at all. So you could have that giant spike like that, and I think we are still moving onwards and upwards in platinum. So my bias for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to stay neutral on it. We have had a couple of large moves, so just be wary of a movement down to around about $915 is where I think we would bottom out. And so that's my call on platinum. Neutral for the next, well, until the next video I will stay neutral on it. Just be aware that we could bottom down, we could move down to about 915, but in the long term platinum is looking very positive in my opinion, as so is platinum. What was I saying? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Let's quickly go over platinum. Actually, I will put it back on auto. For the last however many months, I've been talking about the Fibonacci level of $2,600 roughly. It seemed a long way away, didn't it? Until it wasn't. And this is on the monthly time frame. We saw that rise up to 1630, the retracement back down to the 18 average of highs. You can see that blue line right there. Then we had a spike back up. Could have been a double top, but it was a failed double top. Oftentimes from a failed move comes a fast move in the opposite direction, and then we had that move all the way up to this trend line right here, and that was at about your, well, that was your psychological value, as I was talking about, at the $2,000 level. From the $2,000 level, we had a bit of a psychological play sell-off, hit almost 2000 and then came back to a previous old high right here, which happened to also coincide with this trend line right there. Interestingly, it's very interesting, the technical analysis, hey, and since then just a beautiful, clean, lovely daily candle run up all the way very close to that 2600 level, topping out, at least on this exchange, ticker of, what was that high of 2,500 and was it 80 or something like that? No, 2,550 roughly. So $50 shy of that $2,600 call that I've been calling for since what, back here, something like that. Way back here is when I was calling for that next level to be hit, and so I'm going to call success on that one. So the question is, where are we moving from here? I think we need to look at the weekly. I think there's still room to move down. We've had such a big rise, particularly that peak right there. There is still room to move down, and oftentimes it doesn't always happen, but once you break through a trend line, as I've said many times before, you break through it significantly, you tend to come back and visit it at some point. So I think this trend line right here will become a level of support sometime. I would say, if this is on the weekly time frame, I'd say, well, it could have a little bounce and then maybe back down sometime 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say sometime in the next maybe month to 5 weeks we will possibly revisit this trend line at some point. So that's my call. Further retracement down, just a nice little correction, a healthy correction, which is needed, of course, to then propel the metal moving higher from here. So that's my call, moving down for now, bias to the downside in the next 4 to 5 weeks. In the next week, though, until our technical analysis next Thursday, it should be, I would say, yeah, I'd say we got a room to move down now. Look at that on the daily time frame. Let's take a look on the 4-hourly. If we're on the 4-hourly, yeah, I'm going to suggest we are about to break through this 2,246 level. I think that's coming quite soon, and I think we would move down. The next level I think we would move down to would be around about here, around about your $2,200 level. So watch the $2,200 level as a possible level of support. That's my opinion in the next coming number of days. So by Thursday, quite possibly down movement, possibly all the way down to 2,200. That's my call on platinum. So gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. We also talked about the gold to silver ratio, which I think potentially could move even higher from here. I could potentially bust through, where are we on the weekly? Bust through this previous old high eventually. I think one day, I think we might potentially, again, if silver has a big drop, gold has a big rise, or if gold has a big rise before silver follows, we could, and I think we are heading on our way to that 1 to 100 level once again. And as I said, as soon as that hits that 1 to 100 level, I'm going to be selling out of all my gold, all the 1/4 of an ounce of gold that I own, which is part of a 22 carat ring that I have on my finger, and I'm going to be swapping that for silver because I'm going to get a whole bunch of juicy silver for my gold. That's it, gang. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, and of course head over to bullionnow.com.au because we've got lots of gold and silver, the best bullion bars and coins, shipping to you worldwide from Melbourne in Australia. Thanks for watching. Take care. We will speak to you soon.